Welcome everybody to the return of the Squashfest podcast. Me and my co-host.
Just like Ron Killings, you try to put me down, but I'm always back and better than ever. The boy Harm.
Okay.
Nothing.
No. I appreciate the Ron Killings.
So we were gone for a few weeks due to family plus personal issues. No, I'm not going to go into detail, but I'm just going to start with this by saying, Roman, I've known you for I don't even know how many years it is now. 22 years, 23 years, something like that. I love you.
Mm.
You're like a brother to me.
Mm-hmm.
I hate you.
Okay.
And I hate you not because any of what our hiatus was your fault. There was nothing you could have done to prevent it.
Okay.
But our hiatus made us miss out on doing podcasts and talking about things like Carlito getting fired.
Also valid.
R-Truth getting fired.
And
We never talked about that. R-Truth being brought back in one of the most beautiful moments in the Triple H era.
Mm.
We missed out this weekend talking about the Cena pipe bomb.
Mm.
We missed so many things in the last 3 weeks of wrestling.
You mean good moments?
Good moments we could have commented.
Get into a lull.
we were complaining the WWE is getting into a lull, and as soon as stuff started ramping up, was the moment we had to stop recording for a couple weeks. That's where I am right now.
Why'd you say family and so on issues? I was just gonna tell them that I had health issues.
I didn't want to go into too much detail with your stuff unless you.
No, I wasn't gonna go into the details, but it was health issues. Just say health issues.
Okay.
I had health issues that took me out for a little bit. Stuff dealing with the heart, and so I had to recover for a little bit. We did say you were gonna do the show by yourself.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that. And I thought about doing it. I was like, I don't want to sit here and talk to myself for an hour. That seems so.
Which is what I figured. But you know what? I think it would have been a great idea. And you had just mentioned it before we started, doing it with somebody else. I thought it would have been cool if you would have done it with Kevin or Darwin.
I can't do it with Pig because he doesn't pay attention enough.
Mm.
And when he does try to pay attention, it's ridiculous questions that don't make any sense.
Oh, I believe it.
So at least if I would have done it with Kev,
he would have.
I have somebody who's what's going on. His takes may have been off the wall and crazy, but at least I would have had somebody to bounce it off of a little bit. I can't do it with the other one. The other one will get us canceled. Like
first 5 minutes.
But yeah, swear to God. I can't.
I could just imagine. Like right now, if we're gonna talk about, eventually we're gonna have to talk about the Becky Lynch and Bayley match. I could just imagine his words. Things like salivating and.
No, not even that one. I would have thought the Jade Cargill Roxanne Perez match is where I would have thought he would go off the walls. The Becky Lynch Bayley match, he would have blasted both those women because of whatever his takes are.
Yeah, he would have like, another women's match with these two.
Yes. It's just like, yeah, I can't do it with him.
Got it.
But Raw last night. What'd you think? What were your takeaways? What happened?
As I told you before we even started, my biggest thing was the Roxanne thing, just because I love the fact that they're taking it back to basically the way Raquel and Liv got together.
Mm-hmm.
They did it almost move for move how they got together, and now it's Roxanne and her, and I love that dichotomy of what's gonna happen when Liv gets back.
The problem with that theory is Liv's gonna be gone a long long time. They're talking about maybe 6 months.
Oh, I heard 3 weeks, but okay.
No. It was 3 weeks if she didn't need surgery.
Oh,
They
wow.
announced the WWE announced she needs rotator cuff surgery. She's gonna be gone at least 3 to 4 months. Yeah, so she's gonna be gone a long time.
You know what I think is stupid about stuff like that? The specific wrestlers I understand, right? Because there's not much you can do with them. But somebody like a Liv Morgan, there's no reason you got to keep her off TV.
Oh, I
She
agree.
can't wrestle, but you can keep her on TV to keep that going. You know what I mean?
I agree. I mean, putting her on TV, putting her in the clubhouse, even in a sling, some weeks she doesn't have to be there every week.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
Some weeks to help the story continue going, especially since the story is going to be right now. Liv's gone. Roxanne's going to kind of take her place with Raquel.
Yep.
And when Liv gets back, she's going to have a huge problem with that. So if you have Liv there while she's in while Roxanne takes her place and defends those women's tag titles with Raquel, you can have really good televised moments, and Liv can't really do or say anything about it. And she kind of has to like bite the bullet because now Roxanne is going to be the one who's really helping the Judgment Day.
Yep.
Like there are ways you can do it.
Yep.
But yeah, it sucks. She's gonna be out for 6 weeks, up to 6 months. So the show kicks off, and here's another thing. We've been gone for 3 weeks. We haven't touched on where Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed have been in this thing because.
What do you mean?
We loved the inclusion of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed into Seth Rollins when it first happened.
Yes.
Do you feel like I do that they're not in a better place they are as characters being Seth's henchmen than they were before they joined?
I will agree to that to an extent, but I think the reasoning behind that is also because they're not even using Paul the way Paul should be used.
Okay.
Paul barely talks.
Yeah. Well, because you have Seth Rollins.
Which is my point. But the point of Paul is to help elevate people.
Yeah.
If you're not going to use him the way that he's intended, then what was the point of it? You could have easily stuck 2 other people with Seth then. Mm-hmm. And not had a wise man whatsoever.
I think
I agree to your point. I don't think they're in a better spot, but I don't think that they're hurting from it either. I think they're just kind of stuck.
I think Breaker is hurting.
You think so?
More than Bronson Reed is.
Well, because Bronson Reed wasn't on a huge.
Well, he could have been if he didn't break both his ankles at.
No, 100%.
And he comes back, but Breaker right after he lost the IC title at Mania, he should have been moving towards Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship when Jey Uso won it.
Yeah.
And the immediate thing that they did was they put him with Rollins, and he's just henchman now. Yeah. He's just the guy in the background. There's no character development. There's no. He's a guy who barks. He's an athletic guy who barks. That's what he does right now. And it was great to see him get a clean win last night over Penta, which was awesome because it makes you remember he's really that good. Mm-hmm. But it's just like there's no development in in where he is right now for me. So Rollins, Heyman, Breaker, Reed come out to the ring, and Rollins cuts a promo.
They still don't have a name?
No.
We were gone for 3 weeks.
They haven't given them a name. Though there was a rumor that they were going to give them a name, and they were going to give them new music. That has not happened. They are still Seth Rollins Group. That's how we're going to call them. They're the Seth Rollins Group. So the Seth Rollins Group comes out to the ring. And the Visionary talks about how he's the reason Roman got to where Roman got to because he was the architect of the Shield.
Yeah.
That he's the reason that Punk came back because of Punk's hatred for Rollins. That Cody would not be back if it wasn't for Rollins and everything Rollins did during his run, which is a stretch, whatever. He said there are champions like John Cena and Gunther But as long as that's when he points at the Money in the Bank briefcase, he goes, as long as I have this, I'm always going to be in the number one spot, is what he says. Just talking. There wasn't a lot. It was just to get them over again. It was fine. Eventually, Penta comes out to start his match against Braun Breaker. And what was a really fun match. It was really good. Like I said, Braun gets the win. I was listening to Busted Open earlier today on my way to work, and Tommy Dreamer made a really good point. Braun does some stuff in the ring that you fear he's going to hurt himself.
Yes.
Like that lariat, that clothesline he does from the ring to the announce desk that he does every week now. Mm-hmm. I feel like he's going to blow his knees out, or he's going to break an arm or something, because that's a ridiculous spot he does not need to be doing.
Yep.
The spear he hit on Penta, he got really high elevation, and if you noticed, he lands and tries to brace himself the same way Liv braced herself last week or 2 weeks ago. The same way, arms down. He could have done the same thing and blown out his shoulder. Last week on NXT, formerly known as Elijah from TNA, same thing. He was doing his Undertaker walk, and he landed the same way Liv did, and he tore his tricep. So these are just normal landing spots for wrestlers, and they're getting hurt. Braun needs to be, especially him, needs to be more careful of what he does, because he is so athletic. He the way he moves and runs those ropes. To switch gears to another sport, he could have Tyrese Halliburton himself at any time. Like, he can easily turn ACL or rupture a tendon or do something the way he moves. So he needs to be more careful about that. But great match, like I said, really fun spot. Braun gets the win with the spear on Penta. And I made this comment to Spider Pig last night. I think Braun Breaker has the best spear I've ever seen. His spear is just ridiculous.
I don't think it compares to anybody else. I think it's just ridiculous. And every time he hits it on somebody different, the way they take that spear looks crazy. Mm-hmm. It not once does it look the same. No. It's just he's just a beast.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's like they need to push him. He's like.
They will. He's gonna be the one. He's gonna be the one that turns first, I think.
Turns on. Yeah, but you can't do that, because you can't have the heel turn on a heel, because you essentially would then be turning Seth babyface, and Seth babyface is boring. Like, I love Seth.
No,
Seth
you don't know that they could make Braun Breaker the face. He could turn. He could. No, I'm saying they could. Braun Breaker could be turning for a specific reason that'll turn him face.
I don't know. I don't see that.
You don't see a lot of things, old head.
That's true. All right. So then we get the promo, or the sit-down interview, between 58-year-old Bill Goldberg and Michael Cole. And Michael Cole goes and literally says, before this starts, he goes, I had a 30-minute sit-down interview with Goldberg. So Michael Cole is trying to get you to go to WWE YouTube and watch a 30-minute interview with Bill Goldberg.
That's not happening.
Why?
That's not happening.
So what my biggest problem with this is,
Goldberg.
I remembered, Goldberg, yeah. The fact that he almost killed The Undertaker in the ring, and his last 6 matches, he's 1-5 in his last 6 matches, and the only one he actually got was over The Fiend for the Universal Championship in Saudi Arabia. And he should not be getting a World Heavyweight Championship, because you shouldn't just being able to walk in when you can't win a match and get a World Heavyweight Championship match. But that's not my biggest problem. My biggest problem with this is they're gonna put the title on him.
You think so?
He's gonna win this title.
You think so?
100%. I think the reason they took the title off of Jay and put it onto Gunther was because you needed Goldberg to come out and have a heel to face in his quote unquote hometown of Atlanta for his quote unquote last match ever. They weren't gonna do Jey Uso versus Goldberg because there was no way that the crowd was going to, any crowd, even the Atlanta crowd, was going to cheer Goldberg over Jey Uso. They needed to get the title off of Jey to put it onto a heel to get it to Goldberg.
That sounds crazy.
They're gonna put the title on this man.
That sounds crazy.
At Saturday Night Main Event.
That sounds crazy to me.
I don't. And when Goldberg was talking last night, I remembered him and Gunther having the face to face. I didn't remember what was said. I didn't remember anything about it. Mm-hmm. And Goldberg came out and he said, "I'm 58 years old. He disrespected me in front of my whatever, my wife, my kid." He needs to not be coming off like, "I'm 58 years old. I'm going to come and whip the ass of the 30-something-year-old heavyweight champion." He needs to, if you really want to make people cheer Goldberg, he needs to be more humble, being almost a senior citizen coming in and fighting the world heavyweight champion. Mm-hmm. That's my problem right now. He came off as an aggressive old man last night in that promo, thinking that he's 28 and not 58.
Yeah.
But they are going to put this title on him.
That would be.
He's going to win it.
I hope not.
And I don't think he has because they hinted at it last night. Michael Cole said, "I asked Goldberg, is this his last match?" And Goldberg said, "Yes, this is my last match." And then he said, "What happens if you win the championship?" And he goes, "That's an interesting predicament." They're hinting at Goldberg winning this championship. He's going to win it in Atlanta. I don't think he leaves Atlanta with it because I think he wins it and then Seth cashes in. That's what I think happens. So you get the moment of Goldberg winning the title, and then you get Seth cashing in and walking out of Atlanta with that championship.
That would be.
But he's going to beat Gunther.
No, don't say that.
I am so certain of that right now, and I love Gunther. He's going to beat him. It reminds me of 7 years ago when Kevin Owens was Universal Champion and Goldberg beat Kevin Owens for the championship just because they wanted his match against Brock at WrestleMania to be for the World Championship. He's going to win this title. I hate it. It's going to happen.
He's like, mark my words.
I swear to God. Just remember I said this. He's going to win. Okay.
Hopefully you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong. I don't think it is. I don't think I am. So then we get Jade Cargill versus Roxanne Perez. Mm-hmm. Jade's getting better. Mm-hmm. Roxanne is amazing.
Yep.
Roxanne carried her through this match. Roxanne is so good at playing that heel. And she shouldn't be when she's so polished in the ring for as young as she is. I think she's 24 years old now.
Yeah.
She's so polished in the ring, she can carry anybody through a match. But I was thinking about this last night. When have you ever seen the smaller person be the heel and the aggressor in the match? There were things that Jade was doing in the ring that are traditional heel things. Like when she did the push-ups in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
And I said to Fig, I'm like, this is not she's not acting like a baby face. Mm-hmm. Jade Cargill only knows how to be a heel at this point of her career. Yeah. Even though she is a baby face.
Yeah.
But she only knows how to play the heel role because that's what she was comfortable with in AEW for however many years she was there. And then when she was with Bianca in the tag team, she doesn't have to be
all that
heel. Yeah. She just comes in, gets the hot tag, slips on the top rope, and then
you're stupid.
and then gets the win. But
I can't stand you.
But this was a really good match.
Mm-hmm.
Jade gets the win. She hits her eventually with Jade, setting up Jade and Asuka at what is this thing called? Night of Champions this weekend. I was going to say Queen of the Ring, but that's not the name of the show. It's called Night of Champions.
Yeah.
Jade and Asuka.
It's for the Queen in the
It's
ring.
for the Queen of the Ring at Night of Champions.
Which Asuka has to win that, right?
I prefer Asuka to win. I think Jade's gonna win.
Really?
I think this whole tournament was to get Jade over as a single star.
I could see it. I could easily see that. But a returning Asuka, I'd really want her to win.
I would love to see Asuka win because then you get Asuka and Io at SummerSlam. And the stories you could tell there could be great. And so it would be great. And the stories you could tell there would be great.
Weren't they both Damage Control?
Yes, they were both Damage Control. My problem would be is who's going to cut a promo going into that match?
Either one of them or both of them. Shut up. Yo, I hate you so much. Oh, God.
Just the interview segments alone. It's going to be like the two of them yelling at each other in Japanese again.
Which was fine.
It was hilarious. I'm sorry. It was hilarious. But I'm just saying. You got to be able to talk me into the match. And Io's been better at talking in English recently. But I cannot do both Io and Asuka cutting broken English promos. I'm sorry.
God damn.
All right. So then we get a backstage segment. Finn Balor of the Judgment Day. And all he's doing is rallying the troops. Like, is this what Finn is? Is he the cheerleader of the group now? Because Raquel's standing there with both her championships.
Yep.
Dom is there looking like a lost puppy without Liv.
Which is stupid. Aren't they not gonna strip them of the titles? They're keeping the titles on them, correct?
They haven't announced anything.
I think that's stupid. If for the next 3 to 6 months you keep the tag titles on these two and they can't defend it, unless they're gonna do Roxanne and Raquel defending.
Yeah, I mean, there's precedent because you just did it over on the other show. You just had, when Jade was out, you just had Naomi just pick up her tag title and just defend it with Bianca until they lost it. Like, they could do it again. I don't know if you wanted to do it.
Didn't Becky Lynch and Lyra just do that too?
No, they won it. What happened was
Becky I'm saying it was Bayley and Lyra. It was
Bayley and Lyra, yes. And Becky attacked Bayley.
They won the titles. They went after. Oh no! You're right, because they won the titles.
Becky and Lyra. Yeah, Becky was the replacement for Bayley and won the title.
Yes, my bad.
Yeah, no, it was Jade. Naomi took Jade's spot, which is fine because that led into the whole Naomi heel turn.
Yeah.
This would be Roxanne taking Liv's spot, which is kind of similar. But it's a little bit of a different story because now you just have the jealousy aspect of Liv watching somebody she doesn't trust have the title. I mean, technically it's the same thing but Jade wasn't on TV to tell anybody again, which is a super loophole in that. You were off TV for 4 months. Text Bianca and tell her it was Naomi that attacked you. I'm not to rehash old storylines, but I'm just saying. Sorry. Anyways,
the technology's there. Use it.
Like the fact that it was one of the things that annoyed me with the Bloodline story too. It's like when Roman was not on TV, everyone was just like they would do things, and then it would be like. Roman would come back and look at Jimmy and is like, have you talked to your brother? And he'd be like, I haven't seen him since last Friday. He's just, bro, do none of y'all have lives outside of the 2 hours on Raw or SmackDown?
No.
You're telling me that in kayfabe WWE, nothing that happens ever outside of the world, you can't talk to each other? No one communicates at all?
No.
Anyways, back to what I was saying. Dom's looking there like a lost puppy without Liv. Finn tells Dom and JD, next week we have a tag title match. Him and JD have a tag title match against New Day. Roxanne has a match tonight against Jade. Actually, that was actually before the match with Jade because that led into the match with Jade.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but it led into the match with Jade, and he looks at Dom, and he's trying to get Dom to acknowledge Roxanne's existence, or just try to get him to like her. And he gave her this look as just like, I don't really care for you. Even when she put her hand on his arm, he was just like, he did not acknowledge her at all. It was, I felt that was a little bit of storytelling, because even when he was with Rhea and Liv was trying to get his attention, there would be backstage segments where he was with Liv.
Mm-hmm.
Where he was talking to Liv. They would be coming out of the room together. They'd be talking together. Even if he was telling her not to be around or whatever. Mm-hmm. This is just total ignorance of Roxanne. It's a little bit different. So I don't know where they're going. I don't think Dom is going to end up leaving Liv for Roxanne, but I think Finn is trying to really take that and be the manipulator to be like, look, 100%, Liv, while you were gone, you were gone, Dom was doing this, but Dom's just like, no. So my point is, in kayfabe, does Dom care about Liv more than he ever cared about Rhea?
1,000%.
Okay.
Remember, Rhea was his kidnapper, bro.
Rhea was his kidnapper. Dom was the brainwashed one. Yeah,
exactly. In that scenario,
Rhea was beating the crap out of him on a weekly basis.
Yeah, he loved Liv just based off love, bro. Not kidnapper syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome is what you're thinking of.
That same difference.
All right, so we get that. Cargill wins. Gunther comes out and he cuts his promo, and it's a very fiery promo responding to Goldberg, and calls Goldberg a one-trick pony, which he is. Goldberg's never been a good wrestler. He's always had 4 moves, and him even going back to his WCW days, he's always had 4 moves, and he basically vows
spear, pile driver,
that kick, not pile driver, jackhammer,
whatever, same thing.
Well, the only reason I remember the kick is because he killed Bret Hart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like a power slam, like that was it. Like Goldberg has always been an aura person, and I understand why people like him, but when you actually watch him, it was never good. Goldberg vows to embarrass him all over again at Saturday night's main event. Interesting enough, Gunther got cheered last night by the crowd.
Because nobody wants to see Goldberg, bro. I don't think it's anything past that. I think they're cheering him because they do not want to see a Goldberg champion.
I think the fact that they're doing it in Atlanta, obviously it's strategic because he played for the Atlanta Falcons. Atlanta was the home base of WCW for all those years. It's the city he beat Hulk Hogan in for his first World Championship. Obviously they chose Atlanta for a reason. The problem with Goldberg, who's texting? I didn't mute my phone. The problem with Goldberg, it's my daughter. I muted. The problem with Goldberg in 2025 is wrestling fans our age can have a nostalgia affinity to him. For him, some people really like him. Like if you listen to Biggie was his favorite wrestler of all time. Right? If you listen to, and some people really like him, but wrestling fans younger than us
they don't know nothing about him.
We were 10, 11 years old when Goldberg was getting popular, 97, 98. My daughter has no idea why Bill Goldberg is so popular. She's 16 years old. She's like, who is this old man on my TV? Like the casual fan, the 10-year-old kid who loves Jey Uso, who yeets with him for 12 minutes during his entrance, doesn't care about Bill Goldberg, right? They barely care about Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar's a genetic freak, and he's been on our TV for the last 20 years.
Agreed.
No one cares about Bill Goldberg. He comes back every 3-4 years and has this dream match, almost murders himself, and almost kills the legends in the ring he's in the ring with. Like, no one cares for you anymore. Like,
but that's why
this is for.
I think that's why they're cheering Gunther.
Yes, because we want to see him kill Goldberg, which
Yes.
is not going to happen. This is going to be 3 minutes. It's going to be multiple spears, a suplex because he can't do the jackhammer anymore. It's going to be a suplex / brainbuster, and he's going to get the win. Like, this is going to be so bad. This is going to be terrible. Goldberg's going to walk.
You are convinced.
I am convinced. Again, I don't see him walking out of Atlanta with the championship because I think Seth's going to cash in. But they're going to get that moment where he's going to hold the title of him with the belt for 3 or 4 minutes. It's going to be like Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania 40 when he won the belt and then somebody cashed in on him right away and Drew got his moment of being a world champion in front of a crowd that he never had because when he won it the first time, it was in the pandemic era. So Drew got his moment, Damian Priest cashed in, and that's going to be what it is. Goldberg, world title in front of his wife and kids, world championship at 58 years old. Seth cashes in. Braun Breaker hits him with a spear, which the way it should be done. We got a couple tsunamis from Bronson Reed. Seth hits his curb stomp. Seth walks out with the championship. That's how it's going to go. Like,
and I hope you're wrong.
I hope I'm wrong too. I don't think I am. Okay. Anyways, then we get Mama Bayley versus Becky Lynch for the Intercontinental Championship. Bayley came out looking great, looking like a white Power Ranger. Her gear was awesome. She really did. She really did. She looked like a white. Think about what she had on. She looked like the White Ranger last night.
Okay. I hate this match.
We all knew going into this match, Bayley was not walking out with the title.
I knew it. I understood it, but I didn't expect such a stupid reason.
I know, but remember beforehand, earlier in the night, Bayley was having the conversation with Lyra, and Lyra was telling her, almost apologizing to Bayley because she's, basically saying to Bayley, hey, I know you're going for the championship. I'm not going to do anything to hurt your chances, but I still have my unfinished business with Becky. And Bayley's like, I understand that. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to win the title. And when I win the championship, you're going to be the first in line to get the first title shot. That's what Bayley told her.
Yeah.
All while Becky is standing behind them, watching them talk. So I think that she saw that and it planted the seeds on what Becky was going to do. So these two ladies, they're, again, 2 of the top 4 or 5 women's wrestlers of all time. They can't have a bad match. Mm-hmm. They have great chemistry. Mm-hmm. But at some point in this match, the Valkyrie, the Bird, decided to just
call
show
her
up.
The Bird. Going forward,
the Bird.
The Bird.
The Bird. She decided to show up and help Bayley. So there's a spot where Becky puts Bayley over, like, at the announce desk.
Yep.
And she does the thing where she's trying to bury her with the steel chair, the steel chairs, and get the count out victory. She puts 2 chairs, 2 on Bayley,
and they slid off instantly. It wasn't even like they were on her.
I was watching this, and I'm like, if Bayley gets counted out by being buried by 2 2-pound chairs, I'm going to be pissed. So the Bird comes out and unburies Bayley from 2 steel chairs.
Yep.
And helps her get back. Doesn't even help her get back in the ring. And then Becky comes out, hits her. She jumps on the ring apron, and Becky is goading her to try to hit her, so that way she get disqualified. Mm-hmm. Eventually, Bayley gets in the ring. Whatever happens. And then Becky hits them both. I think Becky hits her with a clothesline or a baseball. Becky hits the Bird with a baseball slide drop kick. That's what pisses off Lyra. Bayley eventually hits Becky outside the ring and then slides her in and tries to hit her with her Macho Man elbow drop. And as that's happening, the Bird gets in the ring and starts ground pounding Becky and disqualifies Bayley. This whole scenario, this whole thing I like 2 of the 3 of them, and I like Lyra as a wrestler, and I understand that this feud with Becky has gotten her a little bit over more with fans, but this whole convoluted storyline to get these 3 women to have we're gonna get a triple threat match at SummerSlam.
100%.
Like this is going to be a triple threat match at SummerSlam. I don't know who's gonna win because I don't care if any of them have that championship because that championship means nothing right now. Like I got nothing. So Becky Bayley gets into the face of Lyra, and they're arguing while Becky's sitting at the foot of the entranceway, selling her face, kissing the championship belt, and just laughing at the 2 of them. This whole thing is stupid. Like I don't understand what the one gripe the IWC wrestling fans have about Triple H is sometimes he does not know how to book the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
This is proof sometimes that he does not know how to book the women's division because you're not getting anybody over by what happened last night.
Mm-hmm.
You're making Lyra look stupid because Becky was able to manipulate her into getting herself disqualified.
Okay.
You're making Bayley look weak because you are supposed to get your one-uppance on the person who took you out of WrestleMania, and you didn't get that done last night. And you're making Becky look like somebody a Weasley coward heel when that has never been Becky's gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
Becky, from the time she turned heel in 2018 at SummerSlam on Charlotte Flair, has always been, I'm the best women's wrestler in this company. Y'all didn't give me the opportunities. I took it, and now no one can touch me. And now with this heel turn, all of a sudden she's the Miz.
Yeah.
You made no one look good last night.
I got you. I understand everything you're saying.
And I'm
not arguing with any of your points. Yesterday just left a bad taste in my mouth. That's all I'm going to say. It was a bad match. It was about a bad outcome. And it needs to culminate in a triple threat. And I would like to see Bayley come out on top because I think of the 3, Bayley would elevate the title even more. We've seen what the other 2 did with the belt, and it was a whole lot of nothing. I think Bayley would be the one to elevate it because she's a fighting champion.
I think Bayley is the fighting champion, and I think Bayley is kind of like that Swiss Army knife. You could put her in anything.
Yep.
Sometimes being the babyface, she can come off as a little boring. But that's when you have nothing really for her.
But she's also said it before. She's just not used to being a babyface.
She was a babyface for years, but then she turned heel, and I think she did better as the heel version than she did as Hugger Bayley.
1,000%.
But then going into Mania, I think it was 39. Which Mania was it when she faced Io? Was it 40?
Sure.
When Damage Control all turned on Bayley?
Mm.
I think it was 40. That was the best version of babyface Bayley when she won the Rumble. It was 40 because I was already living in Florida because I was at the Rumble where she won. So her facing Io at WrestleMania, that's the best version of babyface Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
Where she has something to fight for. She has something to actually go and she has motivations. This is just Becky took me out. I'm going to go take what Becky has. And then my friend / former tag team partner also wants to get her hands on Becky. But there's a convoluted story there that it's just not good for her right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she needs to go back to being a heel, in my opinion. Have her do something dastardly and win it at SummerSlam, and then you can do the Bayley Lyra story after SummerSlam. They're going to go full forward with the Bird being a babyface. I know we're not. It's the gimmick, and it's we can't get over the gimmick. And she's a great wrestler. She's a good talker. She's done better in the last couple weeks on the mic, but it's the gimmick that I just can't do with. I can't do the bird wings. I can't do I can't do the squawking the crowd does when she gets out to the ring. The lightning, like it's just there's a disconnect there for me.
Mm.
All right,
She's
so then we got our back. Yeah, basically, she's a harpy lady. So then we got our backstage segment. Jackie Redmond, I think it was going to interview Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get to what happens, why does Sami Zayn always look like he's dressed like a 32-year-old soccer mom, and he's going to take his gear, like he had on like the $4 dress shirt from JC Penney last night. Like it's the fake polo button up he had on last night.
The man's dress alone.
It's just like I just saw that and just like who's dressing him? Anyways,
himself. Clearly, that's the problem.
Before he could even say anything, Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
And you know how I feel about Karrion Kross.
Yes.
Love the man.
Yes.
They need to be pushing him.
Yes.
Him constantly talking to Sami Zayn every week is not a push.
It's not. It's just an excuse to get him on TV to set up something eventually at some point.
So he's basically telling Sami Zayn, hey, I know you wanted to win King of the Ring. You came up short. Sami, you're never going to be world champion. Sami looks at him, doesn't really even say anything,
nope,
and punches him in the face.
Clocks him,
and walks away. Oh, no, he says, thank you, Kross. I spoke to Adam Pearce. Next week, me and you, our match is official. So next week on Raw, we get Kross versus Sami Zayn.
Finally, Kross is on TV.
Finally, he has a match. His last match on Raw was against AJ Styles. That was like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Which was actually his only Raw match of the previous 365 days. Which was still crazy. He's had one televised match in a year. And he, at one point, was the top merch seller in this company.
Let's go.
And fans wanting him on TV.
Let's go.
When Sami walks away, he's selling the punch. He's holding his face, and him and Scarlett just start laughing. And they say, I got him.
Well, she tells him to stop it first.
Yeah, stop selling it.
Yeah.
Because she knew what was happening.
Yeah, because he was like, oh, and then she was like, stop it. And all of a sudden, he's like, yeah. It didn't even hurt.
So, we're getting Sami versus Karrion Kross next week.
Mm-hmm.
Kross has got to win that, right?
After a year of doing absolutely nothing, I would like to hope that he wins it. But again, knowing them, no, he's not going to win it. And that would just be sad, to be honest. I think he should win it.
3 weeks ago, right before our hiatus, we talked about this. He was at the height of his popularity, right? A couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
This man didn't get a Money in the Bank qualifying match.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get one Money in the Bank qualifying match. He wasn't in any matches.
Yep.
Chad Gable got 2. Chad Gable got one as Chad Gable and one as El Grande Americano. And Karrion Kross couldn't get 1.
Those are 2 separate people, though.
Shut up, Corey Grace. No, shut up, Wade Barrett.
They're 2 different people.
They're not the 2 different people. When El Grande Americano comes out with boots that have CG on them, and they forget to cover up his tattoos, like, no, that is not 2 different people. I would love it at some point if one of the Creeds took up the mantle of El Grande Americano and Chad Gable. Like, let the skinnier Creed, Julius Creed, just come out there and dressed up as El Grande Americano for a match, and have Michael Cole talking into the thing, saying, what kind of a farce is this? We all know El Grande Americano is Chad Gable, and now Chad Gable is in the corner of El Grande Americano while he's having a match against Penta. Let's do that.
That'd be hilarious.
Penta versus El Grande Americano with Julius Creed under the mask and Chad Gable in the corner.
That would be hilarious.
Like
I would love that.
Like something to continue that story going, because the Mexican version of Chad Gable has not been on TV since Worlds Collide.
I mean, that wasn't that. Was that long ago? It was like
It was
2
like
weeks
2
ago.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Because that's the weekend we started missing the shows because I wanted to do a podcast. I wanted to do a pod for Worlds Collide, and we never did.
Copy.
Did you watch Worlds Collide?
No.
You need to watch Worlds Collide.
It was good.
It was good, and we needed to talk about Mr. Iguana, but I feel like that's past its prime right now.
I know who you're talking about. I don't know why we need to talk about him.
Because you didn't watch Worlds Collide. All right. All right. So then we had Rhea Ripley brawling with Raquel Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Raquel comes out after Finn basically tells her earlier in the night, you need to go out there and handle Rhea Ripley. You're supposed to be the enforcer. You're supposed to be this. By the way, I understand that she's supposed to be the enforcer and the China-like character of the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
She enforces nothing.
No, I'm well aware.
She's not. She does. She. If anything, she hurts Liv more than she helps her.
Hey, I just want to say that's how she's booked. That's not capability. She is more than capable.
Oh no, I
of being
agree.
That.
I think Raquel is great.
That's
but we had this conversation. No, we've had this conversation before where she's not physically superior to some of the other women who are on the roster, right? She's not bigger than Rhea. She's not more athletic than Bianca. Like, there are women who can stand toe to toe with her. She's not Nia Jax. She's not Piper Niven.
But again, that's how you book her, because you can book her to be stronger than them.
You can book her to be stronger than them, but my point was they're booked like her and Liv are booked like early Shawn Michaels and Diesel, right?
Yes.
But Diesel was 7 feet tall and physically bigger than everybody on the roster, other than maybe The Undertaker at the time.
Yeah.
When she stands in the ring and her real life best friend Rhea Ripley is standing across from her, and they're the same height, and you're not, and she's not getting the one up on Rhea, even though she did last night. She doesn't feel imposing. She doesn't look imposing.
But again, that's a booking thing, because if you had her beat Rhea up a few goddamn times instead of always cowering or running away or getting beat and so on and so forth.
You're not an NXT fan, but these two women, when Raquel was getting her push as the NXT Women's Champion, they had a great street fight against each other. Rhea and Raquel. And that's when Raquel was at her best she's ever been booked, was in NXT. She beat Rhea Ripley in a street fight to retain her title. Hopefully this Saturday, because that match was added to the card, that street fight was added to the card last night. Hopefully that match will be just as good, because Raquel can be that. Raquel can be this imposing figure, but she needs to your point, she needs to be booked that way. But Rhea is at such a level right now. Even though you can make the argument she's not where she was last year at this time, but Rhea's still such at a popularity level right now. I don't know if they're going to have Raquel get over on her in a place like Saudi Arabia when those fans just want to see the baby faces win constantly. Yeah. So Raquel calls Rhea out. Rhea comes out, and they start brawling. Rhea starts getting the better of her, and Roxanne comes out. Rhea almost beats down Roxanne. Raquel comes, hits a chop block on Rhea from behind, and hits the Tejana bomb on Rhea through a Slim Jim table.
We could talk about that. We ain't get a chance to talk about that.
The Slim Jim
tables. Oh my goodness, they look terrible.
They're just tables with logos.
They're terrible. They're terrible.
But this is what TKO is doing.
I'm aware.
This is why I wanted to talk about Raw.
You know the chairs are getting them next, right?
This is why I wanted to talk about R-Truth getting fired a couple weeks ago, because the average WWE roster, or the low-end WWE roster member on the main roster, makes about $300,000, $400,000 a year.
Yeah.
So they make good money for being a professional athlete.
Yep.
Not the NBA, MLB, that kind of money, but they make good money.
Yeah.
TKO, they're a business. And they, at every turn since they've taken over WWE and fused it with UFC, they've treated this company like a business to the point where the ring, and you know how much I hate it as a wrestling purist, the WWE ring now looks like a UFC ring.
Yes.
The middle of the, even last night, the middle, Slim Jim is not only the table sponsor, Monday Night Raw, they are the middle of the ring sponsor. It doesn't have the WWE logo. On SmackDown, they have the WWE logo. On Raw, it has the Slim Jim logo in the middle of the ring. There was like 5 different companies on that thing. If you're selling all of these advertisers, and these are probably not small contracts. These are probably $1 million contracts that you're
100%.
signing with. You're telling me you cannot keep somebody like an R-Truth, like a Carlito, who are probably making $500,000 a year, that makes your product better, and yet you're signing all of these contracts to continue. I saw something today that if WWE were to cancel Saudi Arabia's shows, that they canceled SmackDown and Night of Champions this weekend, WWE would lose $50 million. $50 million riding on 2 shows this weekend. And they can't. They're so bottom line hungry, that company is, to get that stock price up, that they're not looking at the people who not only make your product better on TV, but probably keep the locker room happy as well. That's why the truth firing was so disrespectful to fans and to talent, because they're like, he's been here 20-something years. Every time you need him, you put him on TV for 3 or 4 minutes at a time, and everyone loves it. He makes the talent crack up even on television.
Yep.
He was a 57-time 24/7 champion when no one cared about the 24/7 championship, and yet I can remember moments of him rolling up Drake Maverick at a wedding, which was hilarious. Him pinning Santa Claus. Like, these are things that Truth did, that his value to the company is more than what you're paying him. And yet they do things like put branding on the tables. Like, what are you doing? I've been holding stuff for 3 weeks. I've got.
You're right.
All right. So after the match, or not the match, after Raquel Rodriguez puts Rhea Ripley through the table, this was hilarious. Rhea storms into Adam Pearce's office. Sidebar: Who's your favorite GM, Adam Pearce or Nick Aldis?
Nick Aldis.
I love Adam Pearce
because he's dumb.
Because he's a guy who is so exhausted in his role, even on television, that he's just letting chaos run amok. Like, Rhea walks in there, Pierce, I want Raquel. You got it. Thanks. And she goes, thanks. He goes, and let's do one better. Let's make it a street fight. And she goes, that sounds official. He goes, I couldn't have said it better myself. He didn't do nothing. like if you walked into the office of your boss, even if they're a middle manager, and you're yelling at them, that's not how that goes. Pierce is so exhausted in his role that he's letting the inmates run the asylum on Raw. And he's so frustrated with Rhea specifically, because remember what happened going into Mania. Rhea Ripley, we complained about it, put herself in a match at Mania she had no business being in.
Nope.
With Bianca and Io. So when he heard her voice, I think he had PTSD.
And he was just like, I'm not dealing with this again.
He goes, whatever Rhea wants, Rhea gets. Whatever mommy wants, mommy's getting right now. That's how I took that last night. It was hilarious.
I can't with you.
That's how I watched it. I was just like, Adam Pearce is hilarious. All right. So then we get Cody and Jey Uso.
Great match.
Great match. I think this would be in Jey Uso's singles reign. Is it in his top 3 of matches? I think. I think
so.
this is. I go to Roman in Hell in a Cell. I go to Gunther a couple weeks ago on Raw because that match was fantastic. And last night was a great match.
You talking about the one he lost?
The one he lost.
Okay.
I thought the Gunther match on Raw is better than the Gunther match at Mania.
So all of Jey Uso's best matches are, 2 out of the 3 are ones he lost?
All 3 of them were ones he lost.
Oh, there you go. Even better.
He lost to Roman in Hell in a Cell. That's when Jimmy comes and Jimmy's like when he's coming off the torn ACL and Roman puts him in the chokehold, and it was an I Quit Hell in a Cell match, and Jay had to acknowledge Roman by quitting. That match was great.
Again, so all of Jay's best matches are losses.
In my opinion, yes, but that doesn't.
I just think it's interesting. I'm not saying it
you
takes
think
away
because I don't like Jey Uso, so I'm going to go.
I just think it's interesting that you like the 3 best for you are all losses.
They're still his best matches.
I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying it's very interesting that that's the case.
You like to spin my hatred for Jey Uso in such a way. I don't hate Jey Uso. I dislike the character.
Yes, I know.
But this was a fantastic match.
It was. And another loss.
Well, here's my thing going into this match. I thought, because once Randy Orton won the match on SmackDown and beat Sammy, you knew Cody was going to win this match. Mm-hmm. You were going to either get the final of the King of the Ring tournament be Cody Randy or Jay Sammy. That's what you were getting. Because you either way you were the best friendship of aspect of both. So once Randy, which was a surprise to me, I thought Sami Zayn was going to win that match. Once Randy won that match, you knew Cody was going to win this match. And now you get Cody Randy at Night of Champions for King of the Ring. Jay, this was, and it wasn't just that it wasn't that he lost, it was that there were moments where Cody had to really dig deep to beat Jay. He had to hit him with a super Cody cutter off the top rope. He had to hit him with multiple crossroads to put Jay down. Jay gets more, in my opinion, Jay gets more in a loss than he does in a win. Because the moment of him beating Gunther at Mania was a crowning moment. But the way he battled to try to defend his championship and he just couldn't do it against Gunther, that was better to me. That was a better performance because he was coming off of the tag match two nights before at Saturday Night Main Event with Cody against Cena and Logan Paul. He was doing the thing that Gunther was saying, you're putting yourself out there too much and the champion shouldn't do that. You shouldn't be helping your friends as much. You should be doing the best for you and trying to defend that title because that's what real champions do. And he tried to prove Gunther wrong, and he put up a valiant effort, and he just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So he gets more off, and he gets over more in a loss than he does in a win, in my opinion. Because that moment last night where he hugs Cody and he shakes his hand after, and they're both out of breath in one of might be their best matches, both of them, since Cody's come back. That was a great match. And I think, like I said, I think it's also one of Cody's best matches. Matches, not spectacle, not WrestleMania 40 when Undertaker comes and John Cena comes and everybody's helping him win.
Yeah.
Just matches bell to bell. That might have been one of Cody's best matches in his 4 years he's been back in WWE. So they had a great match. But yeah, Cody Orton this weekend at King of the Ring. I don't like it. Here's my point. Here's my reason. Cody doesn't need it.
I was gonna say Cody doesn't need it, but Cody's definitely gonna get it.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna win it, and that's how he gets his match against Cena again at SummerSlam.
Isn't the Saudi championship still a thing? What happened with that?
That's a Crown Jewel championship, but this is not WWE Crown Jewel.
Same, different. I get confused about each.
No, because Crown Jewel was in Saudi last year. Crown Jewel this year is going to be in Perth, Australia.
Okay.
So if
I'm just saying, Cody got that crap, that belt that you don't wear, that you only see once a year, and then now he's gonna get that. They're just like stacking this guy with accolades. Is my point.
Yeah, if they're gonna do the Crown Jewel Championship again this year, it'll be in Perth, Australia, and whoever the champion is at the time. Which will probably be Cody and Rollins.
I guess.
Yeah, because I think Cody's going to beat Orton this Saturday, and Cody's going to go on to SummerSlam and defeat John Cena and take that title off of Cena, and then we'll get.
When's Cena fighting Punk? At Night of Champions?
Saturday, Night of Champions. Which I don't think Punk has a chance. I don't think Punk wins that match.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah, but yeah, what'd you think about the main event? What was your takeaways?
I think it was a great match. I think you hit it right on the nail. I just find it funny that you only like Jey Uso matches where he loses.
He gets over better in a loss.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying it's funny to me. Like, damn. That's what entertains you the most.
If Jay would have won that match, I would have bashed them for missing Cody Randy. Because again, Jay could have won that match.
It's the better story. I agree. But I'm just saying, Cody, like, the fact that you would have went ham about it is just intriguing to me.
I still would have said it's a great match, but the outcome was wrong. That's what I would have said. The outcome was predetermined once Randy won on SmackDown. I thought Sammy should have won this entire thing. That was the way I would have booked it.
Me too. Same. At least because even if he's not going to win the world title, at least get him to that point.
Yeah, and then you can tell the story. You can tell the story at SummerSlam, and this is how I would have booked it. Sammy wins the whole thing.
Yeah,
he gets his title match at SummerSlam. The fans will get behind him again because remember how behind they were behind him. When he was facing Roman a couple years ago in Vancouver or Edmonton or one of those Canadian cities, Montreal. It was in Montreal, and fans wanted him to beat Roman because they wanted Sammy to win the world championship because I was coming off of him turning on Roman at the Bloodline saga.
Yeah.
So fans will get behind Sammy on the pursuit to the world championship
fairly easily,
he could have won the King of the Ring, and you could have done the thing like I said, where Seth Rollins takes the world title off of Goldberg, and then you do Rollins-Sammy at SummerSlam because the first person to confront Rollins when he went with Heyman was Sami Zayn. You could have told that story and continued to go in. There are so many, but they missed the boat. I understand what they want to do because these Saudi Arabian shows are booked like giant house shows, and they want the baby faces to win constantly. And they want Cody there because Cody is the money right now. But there were so many more intriguing stories you could have went that just don't include Cody Rhodes going against John Cena at SummerSlam, which is where we're headed. And you could still get around to Cody Rhodes versus John Cena without Cody winning the King of the Ring.
I agree.
He didn't need he doesn't need it. Like,
remember when champions used to call out the fact that they get a championship clause where if they lose, they're first in line?
Yeah, a rematch clause. WWE likes to.
I'm saying, remember those days?
Yep.
He could have easily just used that.
And Jey Uso hasn't gotten his rematch.
Also valid.
It's like you had two guys in the semifinal on Raw last night who both lost their championships, and neither one got their rematch against the person who beat them for it. and it just don't make no sense. Like
As a former world champion, you would think Triple H would remember these things.
I think he books more for the long-term story and what he thinks is going to be better than the traditional wrestling.
I know, but then at least put those matches. You still do those matches, but then put them on a Raw.
Yeah, and then you have them lose.
Exactly. And it's still another title defense under the champion's belt, and you're still keeping it going. Of that, that rematch clause actually matters. You're welcome, Triple H.
But you know why it doesn't matter?
Because Triple H says so.
Because we're going to get a 58-year-old world heavyweight champion at... Was it Saturday Night Main Event?
Yes.
Saturday Night Main Event in Atlanta, Georgia on July 12th. And this is what they book for. They book for the people who want to see Goldberg instead of the people who want to make logical sense of their professional wrestling. It doesn't... I'm sorry. This is good. I'm going to do an emergency solo podcast where it's just me breaking my computer when Goldberg wins the championship. I'm going to smash something.
I hate you. Isn't it this Saturday?
No, this Saturday is Night of Champions.
When is it? So next Saturday?
It's July 12th.
Oh, okay.
So it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I don't know.
No, I was just trying to coincide that with you being in Brooklyn, because I was gonna say, "Damn, you're gonna break Darwin's computer."
No, I'll be home for that. I'll be back by then. I'm gonna grab an iPad out of the room that no one cares about and be like, "No one wants this. No one. Cool. I'm gonna smash this for content." You
look in pain.
It hurts. It hurts to watch this man who is world heavyweight champion and won 100 and I don't remember what it was, 170,000 matches in a row on WCW Nitro in 1998 against guys like Kiwi and Hugh Morris and Conan get world heavyweight championship shots in 2025. We're past that era of booking.
I just don't like the fact that Gunther held onto the title for so long, and then he lost it finally to Jay. He wins it back, and he's immediately going to lose it.
I agree. And here's the thing: is I made this I had this conversation. Would have been a good conversation we can have. Actually, we could probably do content about it another time, short form content. But there have been five. If you include Drew McIntyre's 5-minute reign. There have been 5 world heavyweight championships. This version of the world heavyweight championship. There have been 5 champions. Seth, Drew, Priest, Gunther, Jey Uso. You can make the argument, even if it was so short, the 51-day reign, that Jey Uso's championship reign is the second best championship reign of that title. It's Seth, his first reign, and it's Jay. That is it. Because
we said because Gunther's was really boring. It was a long reign, but it was boring. No,
so was Damian Priest.
I agree.
And Drew McIntyre didn't have a reign because he was too excited with CM Punk sitting. I was gonna say courtside, but ringside at WrestleMania when he won.
Yeah.
So Jey Uso, in having that title for only less than 2 months, elevated that championship where it was a real world championship. And now Gunther has it, and Gunther's a real world champion, and he needs to be elevated like a top guy. And he's going to lose to 72-year-old Bill Goldberg.
He's not 72.
97-and-a-half-year-old
He's not 97.
Bill Goldberg. Like a man who couldn't walk to the ring to cut a promo without getting winded last week. A man by his own admission says he injured himself twice training for this match.
Nice.
A man who, getting into his match with The Undertaker in interviews, said he concussed himself before the match by headbutting something because that's his thing. Headbutting a locker before the match starts to rile himself up. He concussed himself before the match and concussed himself during the match because instead of hitting his shoulder on the ring post when he went for a spear, he hit it to the top of his head. And then try to hit Undertaker with a jackhammer.
So you're excited for a Goldberg championship, is what I'm hearing.
I'm excited for Seth Rollins to put that old man out to pasture, Old Yeller style.
We'll see.
Like,
what if it doesn't happen at Saturday night?
If we get another Goldberg match after Saturday Night Main Event, I might kill myself. like this man does not need to be wrestling. For 6 months we've talked, because he has talked about wanting to do a retirement match. He has made it clear he wants to do a retirement match. If this is not his retirement match in front of his family at Atlanta, Georgia, then it's going to be it's going to be a mind F for me, because this is the perfect time for this man to stop. Stop, please. I don't want you on my television anymore.
I can't with you.
It'll be Ric Flair has said he wants to wrestle in 2025.
And he should.
He's another one he passed out twice during his last match.
Yeah.
There comes a time when the legends of yesteryear need to stop and go away. Goldberg, that time was when you lost the championship to Brock Lesnar 6 years ago. That was the time. Please go away. We didn't need the Bobby Lashley feud. We didn't need you taking the title off of Bray Wyatt, the feud at Saudi Arabia. We didn't need you and Undertaker. We definitely don't need this. This is a time where Bill Goldberg...
Why are you pleading to the screen?
I am praying to the Lord, who I don't believe in. The wrestling gods. Please. And I don't ever want people to get injured. I never root for injury. But please, let there be something that happens that makes this be the final time we see Bill Goldberg ever. Not even I don't want him showing up for a promo.
I was just going to say that. You don't even want to see him on your screen at all.
No, this needs to be Goldberg's go away. I don't want to see 70-year-old Bill Goldberg in WrestleMania 61 doing the Hulk Hogan thing, trying to get the cheap pop, and then people looking at him and saying, who is this old man who looks like the guy from the enforcer from Breaking Bad? Like, I don't need this guy showing up ever on TV. Ever again.
Poor Bill. Justice for Bill. # justice for Bill.
Cosby?
No. Wow. What?
He's dead, isn't he?
No.
You sure Bill Cosby didn't die?
He did not die. Oh my goodness.
We're gonna look this up. I know O.J. Simpson died, but I'm pretty sure Bill Cosby died.
O.J. died?
O.J. died like 2 years ago. Maybe last year.
That's crazy.
You're right. Bill Cosby's still with us.
I know that.
Yeah, Bill Cosby is definitely still with us.
That's crazy.
O.J. Simpson died in April of last year, sir. Side note. Do we think WWE Hall of Famers should get their Hall of Fame acceptance stripped of them if they do something stupid?
Yes. Define stupid.
I don't want to get into politics.
No, I understand, but I'm saying define stupid. Like if it's like a drunk driving situation,
no,
I don't know.
Agree with that.
That's what I'm saying. If it's something like crazy, like murder or like
I
know about Jimmy Snuka.
Jimmy Snuka is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, I would strip him.
Okay.
I would strip him.
Okay. That's the one that comes to mind because obviously Benoit will never go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. If he was, I would strip him. things like that. I 100% agree. But again, that becomes the argument of, can you separate the art from the the egregious
Artist.
act?
You know,
Yes. No.
listen, Chris
No,
Benoit is
you're
one of my
saying
favorites.
that, but then when we start talking about like music and stuff, then people are like, "No, Michael Jackson and R. Kelly and da, 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 da."
Listen,
I
I
can
can
I
listen.
can separate, and then when you're talking about Kanye West, I can separate the artist from the like. No, me, it's if the person and the art is still the same person.
I agree and disagree with you. I can listen to a Michael Jackson song. I can listen to an R. Kelly song. I understand that they're despicable human beings, but I can listen to their music.
So then why can't
Now,
you
if they
watch
were,
a match?
I didn't say I can't watch a match. I said they should be stripped from the Hall of Fame.
I
Like if
understand
Michael,
they shouldn't they
I think,
shouldn't
I
they
think,
shouldn't
I
be
think Michael
celebrated.
Jackson, I think Michael Jackson should be taken out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because of everything, all the allegations, everything else. That's what I'm saying. Um, I brought that up because of everything, and it's a perfect segue. Uh, that's happening right now in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Hall of Fame president who, WWE Hall of Famer, was a president of this country who literally is about to start World War III. And whether or not you believe that
Oh
it's
no, I
fine,
believe
whatever.
he should be out of the Hall of Fame 100%. He should have been out way before that.
Yes. And to this point, I'm not sure. I don't know if there was an update today, but as of yesterday, Saudi Arabia's airspace was still closed,
Mm-hmm.
meaning the wrestlers can't get in.
Yeah, I know.
So they'll probably be open by the time they fly out tomorrow. But if you're putting American business at jeopardy overseas, especially an American business who's $1 billion company that you're a member of the Hall of Fame of,
Yeah.
should you then be stripped of your Hall of Fame status because you're hurting the company you're a Hall of Famer of?
Mm.
That's my take.
If we're talking about just financial hurting, I don't think it's that serious.
Okay.
If we're talking about all the other atrocities that he's committed, then yes, I say take him out.
Listen, I mean, we can go in. That's a separate politic podcast. We can start if we want to talk about Trump atrocities.
I'm good.
We don't need to do that on this one. I can do that for hours. Yeah. Before we head out, I actually do want to see. Did you ever? I know we weren't watching wrestling in 2011, but obviously the clips were always there. Have you ever actually gone back and watched the entirety of the Punk pipe bomb?
Yes.
Okay. What did you think about Cena's pipe bomb?
I didn't see it in its entirety. I have to go watch it. I saw the clips of it, and it was remarkable. Because there was
great.
No. It was the fact that they had a video that I saw that literally it put the first pipe bomb and Cena's pipe bomb together, and it's almost bar for bar.
Yeah.
Exactly how it was, and I was just like, wow, that's amazing how he did that.
He takes it to a point where he's calling Punk a hypocrite for everything that Punk was supposed to stand for.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, you're supposed to be the voice of the voiceless. You're the TKO guy. And I thought he missed opportunities, and you'll go back and watch it. I know WWE probably wouldn't want him to do that. Mm-hmm. But if I'm Cena and I'm breaking the fourth wall,
yeah,
you're not the voice of the voiceless. If anything, you're the TK guy. He said TKO, but I thought he was going to. I would have went, you're the Tony Khan guy. Like, that's what I would have went. That's where I would have went with that promo, because that's you really breaking the fourth wall. When he says, because Punk's original thing was right after his best friend Cole Cabana got fired, and then Cena was like, "Hi Claudio Castagnoli, hi Nick Nemeth, hi Matt Cardona," and again breaking the fourth wall. You could have said, "Hi Jack Perry."
That's true.
When talking about Punk and how he keeps
that's true,
down.
But you also don't want to keep. You're highlighting the other company.
WWE, but here's the thing: when you're number one and you're by far number one, who cares about highlighting piss poor AEW?
I agree with you. However, again, that's not how they roll. They don't do that.
It doesn't make it like they're 10 times the company AEW is right now.
I would say 100 times, but still.
I would have went to Triple H and said
Their
if I'm
stance is
Cena.
we don't acknowledge the little guy.
That was Vince's stance in today's WWE. When you own a Triple A and you had TNA World Heavyweight Championships on on WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and you're having TNA talent on NXT consistently, like who like they've opened the door for
I think it
wrestling
was
outside
enough.
of.
They named a bunch of other people. I think that was enough.
I mean, he said Claudio Castagnoli. He didn't
Yeah.
say Cesaro. Like,
Exactly.
right? He used their real names. Like, he used their real names. He didn't use their WWE names, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I still think he missed an opportunity to be like Punk, Jack Perry, the Bucks, Hangman. Like, he's not gonna say Hangman on Page, but but that's where I would have went for that promo, and I think you could have had a more viral moment.
I guess.
All right. Before we get off the rails, I feel like this one went a little long because we talked about a lot of things we missed for the last couple weeks. What are you looking forward to for this weekend? I want to see
Cena Punk.
Cena Punk?
Yep.
I think, do we get an R-Truth interference at some point in the game?
1,000%. 1,000%.
Okay. He's doing. Oh, we got. That's another thing we got to talk about. Roland Killings right now is doing such great work because I don't know, a lot of wrestling fans aren't catching this. We know he's always been this crazy character, right? We've always thought he was out of his mind, but now where he is right now is he's almost playing like a James McAvoy in Split character.
Yes, that's exactly what he is.
He's a schizophrenic.
Yeah, and he's always. That's why he keeps saying, "I'm in the driver's seat now," because he goes, "I'm driving person." Now. Yeah, he's like, "I'm a different personality than."
A couple weeks ago on Raw, and it was a little thing, and it's very easy to miss. He's talking to himself, and he says, "Y'all can't all talk at the same time."
Yeah.
Like there are too many voices in his head going constantly.
Yeah.
Like so if there's R-Truth. And then there's Ron Killings. What other voices are in his head that he's referencing?
True.
Are we going to get a Ron Killings character where you don't know how he's going to act on a weekly basis? Where he could show up on Raw and he can go and talk to Miz as R-Truth and not acknowledge anything that's happening when he was Ron Killings.
Yeah.
I think you can do that story and it can be really intriguing in a professional wrestling stance.
Yeah.
Because Truth is so talented to do that. It's a DID, it's a dissociative identity disorder thing that he can be doing on Raw, which is kind of crazy.
I'm just hearing them outside.
I hear them.
Restless.
I hear him.
That tells me our hour's up.
I think it's been more than an hour, but
no, but that's what I'm saying. That's how I know our hour's up because they only have an hour attention span where I can be left alone.
So, gotcha. All right, so we're gonna cut it short there. Again, this is the update. This is the updated card for Night of Champions. We have Cena Punk. Randy, Cody.
I don't care.
Asuka, Jade.
That could be interesting.
Rhea, Raquel in a street fight.
That could also be interesting.
Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship.
That will be interesting.
And 411 Mania has Cross and Zayn, but I think that's going to be on Raw. I don't think that's going to be on the show.
Copy.
So, unless they really want to just put Sami Zayn on the show because his family's from Syria and they want to put him there. Maybe they'll add it in. But yeah. Jacob Fatu Solo. I think that's going to be the most intriguing match of the night because I think Jacob Fatu is a superstar. Like that dude's just that good.
How mad would you be if Solo won it?
I would be upset because you haven't done anything with Solo since he lost to Ulafala to Roman, and all of a sudden you're killing Jacob Fatu's push.
I don't
But
think you
then
kill his push. I don't think it affects Jacob that much either.
I think he needs.
I don't
I
think he
think
needs the
eventually
belt.
he's going to be on the. I think eventually he's going to be in the world title picture anyway. Like
Yeah.
he's going to be. He's going to be the one feuding with Cody, maybe by the end of this year for that Universal Championship.
Yeah.
I think by the time Cena loses it to Cody and Cena starts his, babyface run for the end of his career for the last couple of months, Cody Jacob could be your Royal Rumble or WrestleMania match for next year.
I can see that.
That could be so good because Jacob's just ridiculous. All right. I think that's where we call it on this week's Raw review. Again, thank you guys for being patient with us, and for those of you who, at least in my, maybe not online, but people who know we podcast have come up to me and be like, "Hey, you haven't done one in a while. What's going on?" So thank you for being patient with us, and thank you for staying with us. We're going to be doing this again moving forward and more consistently. And you still need to watch NXT. We need to be doing more stuff. So, especially Trick NA, bro. Trick Williams, TNA heavyweight champion. We got to be talking about that.
We don't.
That.
We don't
Yes.
have to be talking about it.
Yes, we do.
It's not canon.
It's 100% canon, but okay.
It's not canon. But yeah, on that note, we appreciate you guys always. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for following us on TikTok, YouTube, and Spotify. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.